Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Convergence Podcast. This is your man, Andre Barracks here. It's a place for branding, faith, and life meet. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is season two. We're in season two, y'all. Hey, season one is in the bag. You can log back and check those episodes, 11 episodes of some great entrepreneurs and trailblazers in their industries, talking about their journey and what they do and things that help you along in your business. All right. So today, my guest today is a beautiful lady inside and out representing Brooklyn, New York, where she was born and raised. She currently resides in Poughkeepsie, New York with her husband and two wonderful children, escaping that city life. A through and through CUNY alumni, she received her BS in legal studies from John Jay College of Criminal Justice and her master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology from Brooklyn College, big up BC, former alumni myself. She is also a low-key America's Next Top model, having over a decade in the modeling game. She's appeared in magazines, ads, videos. You may have even seen her in a commercial or two. Her life experiences certainly shaped her and lit the spark for her to found We Are Listening, a virtual e-mentoring organization for young ladies ages 13 to 22. She believes in capturing them when they are impressionable and making an impact. Visionary, mother, wife, travel enthusiast, a lady that certainly celebrates life and can turn up. Help me welcome, please, Miss Venae Jackson to the Convergence Podcast.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Andre.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank God. Another day.
Yes.
So good to see you. I know it's a lot going on.
Good to see you too.
And how was 2020 for you? How I know the pandemic is still going on and stuff, but how was everything for you?
What year?
2020. How was that?
Okay, repeat that again.
Yeah, that year we don't talk about. Right, got you.
Yes, 2020, I'm sure like with everyone else was just a complete blur. Like the first couple of months was pumping. It was like it's 2020, new year, and then all of a sudden the brakes were pumped. It was like, so 2020 was very interesting. It was a scary time. It was, it just put everybody in a position to actually take a step back and look at life, and make some hard decisions, good decisions. It was it was an interesting year. And I think 2021, people kind of, everybody's used to it now, meaning we kind of know what we need to do and how to work around it. So This year was a little easier, but 2020 was,
Yeah, it's definitely you try to like think back to things and all that. Like 2020 is like a blur, so like your timetable is like off for when things were and stuff because nothing happened last year. I was talking to my brother, he was like, "What did you do for Thanksgiving last year?" I was like, "Oh, it was a pandemic. We didn't do nothing for Thanksgiving last year."
Exactly.
Right, that was 2019 that happened. Sorry.
Yes. I actually used 2020 as my pinpoint because I'd be like, okay, what happened before 2020? So that helps me like remember things,
Exactly. You gotta have a BC AD kind of thing going.
Yes.
Oh yeah. What was young Venae growing up in Brooklyn like, man?
You know what? I had a very diverse upbringing, meaning I was raised in Flatbush, Brooklyn, all my life. Lived on Rutland Road in the house. Brooklyn, and then I went to when I started third grade. My parents had us on like a school busing list, and we got selected to be bused to white schools for better education. So right before I started third grade, we were called. We were on the list and we were called. And so from that point on, I started going to schools in Italian neighborhoods in Bensonhurst and things like that. So growing up was interesting because I was I was a pepper and salt shaker, and then I came home to Flatbush. So, I had like this nice mix of youth and being around people in all different backgrounds and, that good stuff. So it was pretty cool. It was cool.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to New Utrecht High School.
Oh, New Utrecht. Okay, cool.
Yes, I went to New Utrecht.
That's that side of Brooklyn I never really went to.
That's the B train. 79th Street.
Yeah, that's some other trains I be rocking with.
Yes. Yeah. You got off on Atlantic Avenue, right? You like
That's it.
transfer.
I don't go any further. I stop there and go downtown Brooklyn. That's it. That's about it.
Yes. Yes.
How did you get into modeling?
Ooh, okay. So I stumbled upon modeling, believe it or not. Like I tell people all the time, like I never wanted to be a model. And basically like growing up, I was like chubby as a child. Like people don't believe it, but I was chubby as a child. So that
Nope.
whole modeling thought process of modeling was like not even there. Cause you know what the magazines show, like what beauty is, you know? So I was just like, I can't do that. But when I finished working on my bachelor's degree, because I was tall, a lot of people would come up to me and say, you know, do you model? Do you model? You know, that kind of thing. Like, no, I don't. I'm just working, you know. Finally, I met this photographer who was a photographer for Jet magazine.
Nice.
You remember those beauties of the week?
Oh, of course.
So he came up to me and he approached me. I was working at the DA's office, and you know, he just was like, you know, you should model, and I do photographs for the photo of the week. And you know, my antennas went up like, I don't know about that. But anyway, I ended up talking to him later on that evening, and he was the one that actually motivated me to at least give it a try. I didn't do the beauty of the week or shoot for it or anything, but he, you know, basically told me the ins and outs of modeling and what it entailed. And so I started doing research, and I started from there. And I was successful, meaning I had a booking maybe a few months later, and that just started, you know, my career and never stopped.
Nice. Now, do you do still kind of once in a while do stuff now, or pretty much?
Yes, I
Nice.
do. I still have an agent that I've been working with forever, and they call me for just, you know, they call it direct bookings, or that means like you book something just from, you know, they see a picture on their site or whatever, and they book you. Or it has to be like requests. If I'm requested, I'll go on the casting. So I still definitely dibble and dabble. I'm just a lot more selective today because I have so many other things going on.
All right. We are not against other income and other streams of income coming in.
Absolutely. Highly recommended. One, you got to do your 9 to 5, and then the other one should be fun, something you enjoy, but you also make money.
Right. Now, not to be all in your business, but usually for those things, that they like give you a check, it's kind of direct deposit kind of thing, or how does that usually work as far as
They
payment
cut
goes?
you a check. They cut you a check. Yes. So you get
Okay.
paid via check, and they take their portion out. You know, agencies take a certain percent. They take their percent. The rest is yours.
Not bad. Would you encourage your daughter or son to get into it or so if they asked about it?
Yes, they actually have workers permits. You know, I have them set up to be in the industry, but I manage them. So
Nice.
everything I submit them for, and I put them out there for, I screen first, you know, and I make sure, and everything I do is legit. Like I do my research, I do my due diligence, make sure everything is correct. So they actually are in the industry, and my daughter and I actually booked an ad together for Pfizer.
Nice.
When she was 4, she was 5. We booked a mother-daughter casting and booked it. So we shot in a zoo in New Jersey, and it was for a Pfizer ad.
That's what's up. Listen, keep the money flowing to the whole family. I ain't mad at that.
Yes.
Definitely mad at that.
Yeah.
Now, does anybody that you had the chance to meet when you were, or I guess in the heyday, in a sense of your modeling career, that you were like, oh wow, kind of fanned out on a bit, like any celebrities or anybody that you kind of got a chance to meet? You're like, oh, I just met so and so.
Yes. I got to meet a lot of people, and I actually worked with them. And a lot of times in the modeling industry, you're working with people, so everybody's working. So, you know, it's like, you know, oh, there's Chris Rock, you know, hi, Chris Rock, but we're actually getting ready to tape something. So everybody's in mode, you know, of taping and getting this. So I worked with Chris Rock. I did a couple of his shows, his shows, the Chris Rock show. He had the funny skits in between his stand-up, and I did some of the funny skits. Did that. I did an episode of Sopranos. So I got to work with Bokeem Woodbine. I actually played his sidekick. I was like by the pool, you know, and we shot at a beautiful mansion in New Jersey. And You know, I met them, but like I said, we were in work mode. So it was like, you know, hello, nice to meet you. And, you know, they felt like nice to meet me, you know, it was like, okay, you know, and then we were just in work mode and just did, we had to do, cool. I did a video with the Locks. I did a video with them for Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan's video. They did a video for
the soundtrack.
Rush Hour. Yes.
Oh, so now I gotta go back and check out YouTube and see if I see you. Like,
yes, I can't find it anymore. Like I've been looking for it. I cannot find it. I don't know what happened to the videos. It was Casino was the rapper. I don't know what happened to it, but I kept trying to find it. Can't find it. But I met them, and I met a lot of people even working. But as far as industry parties and things of that nature, I met a lot of people that I can't remember today because it was it was a while ago. But I met some interesting folks. I worked with Cynthia Bailey at Essence Magazine. We both shot for Essence Magazine together. And I met her at the time. Her daughter was really young. She probably was about 3, 4. Wow. So yeah, I've met some interesting folks.
Yeah, you have this whole alternate lifestyle.
Yeah. So true.
Study. Like we're in legal studies during the day and this whole other life at nighttime.
Right.
And on the weekends.
It's coochie at night.
That's cool.
Yes.
Now I want to know walk us through going from doing legal studies as your bachelor's into industrial organizational psychology for your master's. Like,
yes.
What was that transition?
How did that transition, right? Sometimes I still ask myself. So I wanted to be an attorney. So I started pursuing my bachelor's degree for legal studies, took the LSAT and everything, like that's the law school admission test. Did all of that, but changed my mind working in, like, no shade to law firms and attorneys, but working in a law firm, it just wasn't for me. So I watched how, the process and what attorneys go through and the process of elevation. You're an associate and you got to work, you basically break your back your whole career, just trying to stay afloat. And I just knew that wasn't for me. And I always loved psychology equally. I always felt like I had an innate I just always loved like the mind and people and understanding how people think and what behaviors drive certain things. And so I decided to go back to get my master's degree in IO, which we call it for short, just because you like paused when you said industrial and organizational. It's long. We call it IO psychology. That's basically psychology in the workplace. So, a lot of times culture, dictates like how people, you're especially now with diversity being so big and inclusion, you want to take a look at your culture and find out, are we successful? Do the people that work here love working here? Or is it a place of show? And so it's all about employee engagement and making sure employees are happy at work and what drives behaviors, what drives motivation at work. So that's what IO psychology is about. So when you start a company and you're practicing IO psychology, you're dissecting that company to find out what could we do for innovation to make our staff happy and our employees, and what will make them productive. And so that's what IO psychology is. So that's what that switch came into. It's like, I love psychology too. So this is what I want to do.
Cool. Now, just for a brief sidebar, since I do branding and all the other stuff, just in case, that definitely is kind of a segue to a side hustle in a sense. You could be somebody that helps startups figure out their company culture before they even start. Or so, like what do you want, to do? I don't know if you started doing something like that already, if you thought about that, but it's a free nugget for you.
Yes, thank you for that idea. Yes, they have a lot of people that actually IO psychologists that have their own business, and that's exactly what they do. So they go into businesses and
there's money to be made in this world, folks.
Yes. So I need to add something else on my back to do.
Yeah, definitely. How old is We Are Listening?
Oh my goodness. I feel old because We Are Listening is 7 years old.
Nice.
7. I can't believe it. Like my son was 2 when I started We Are Listening. And the challenge that was to keep him out while I was trying to do meetings. And, he just wanted to be with mommy all the time. But now he's like, bye, he's gone, But yes, it is 7 years old. Wow.
Can you pinpoint an exact time We Are Listening was born? As far as in your mind, at least?
Yes, it was actually in the end of 2013. I was sitting on the bus. This is actually my story. I don't know if you were going to ask me this, but
Oh, okay. She was
I was
prepared. See,
sitting.
look at that. I like that.
Yes, I lived in Queens before I moved to Poughkeepsie, and I was on the bus, and I was listening to an Oprah and Deepak podcast. I don't know if you guys know who Deepak is, but they do motivational and inspirational like podcasts. And I was listening to it, and it asked, "Who are you?" That was one of the questions. So I had it plugged in, and I was thinking, "Who am I?" Venae. I'm a model, I have my master's degree, I'm all that, that's what I'm thinking in my head. Like,
Right.
I have a story. But then the next question was, when I ask, who are you? It's not about you. It's about, what are you doing for other people? And I went, oh, dang, okay.
Where's my bubble? Sheesh.
Exactly. So, right at that moment is when I realized, like, I had such a good connection with young ladies. And I know my modeling is always that introduction, because young girls always have majority have a dream of being a model. They see it in magazines, TV, especially social media today. And, I just said to myself, this is what I need to do. I know I can reach young ladies. I have a good rapport with young ladies. I'm young at heart, and I have life experiences that I can share and guide them with, So it was at that moment, it was a little before 2014, because I started it in 2014, was when I came to that recognition. Like, I want to do this.
All right. Now, how did you go about kind of organizing the whole company and stuff? Did you have already in your mind, like, I need to reach out to, I know you have a board of directors. Did you initially originally thought, let me reach out to these ladies that are, I'm friends with, or I know, or colleagues with, to start this? Or how did your mind start kind of working through, let me start this organization?
That's exactly what I did. I'm a research person, like I said, so I instantly started doing research. I was like, okay, I couldn't do too much research, because if I did too much in-depth research, I probably wouldn't have done it, because it's a lot involved, especially with getting started. Right. So, I did the research. I looked up how I would go about starting a nonprofit, what I needed, how much money I needed, how many people I needed to get it started, because there are regulations on how many directors you have to have on your board, everything. So I did research, knowing, there was going to be transitions with the business. So I kind of armed myself with enough information, and I called 7 of my closest friends. And I was like, listen, this is my idea. This is what, this is where I think it could go. This is what the goal is. I think goals are always continuous. They're never just one goal, it's always continuous, even if you're working towards it. So everybody, my camp, they just all jumped in. They were like, count me in, I'm down, let's do it, this is great. And we started from there. Cool. We started with the name, what the name was going to be. We Are Listening was my number 1. And then I had 2 other ones. Again, like, once I'm done with something, I hit delete, even in my mind. So I can't even remember exactly like what the other 2 names were, but We Are Listening was the one, and we all agreed, like, that's a great name.
Right. I think it definitely encompasses what, you're trying to accomplish, definitely, as far as this hearing the young ladies and kind of having them be heard. A lot of times, just young people in general, especially young ladies, they want to be heard. Young people want to be heard. A lot of times adults can be kind of brash and brush them off and stuff like that. And then they go around, kind of go down the wrong path, because they didn't get somebody to listen to what they were saying, or hear their heart and stuff. Now, how is it setting up you talking about setting up a nonprofit? That's different than kind of a for-profit business or so. So kind of how are those, I guess that process, I should say, for starting the nonprofit?
Well, there are 2 ways, starting a business is starting a business. You have to get incorporated, you have to have your, select your name. You have to go through the process of selecting who you want to be on your team, on your board,
Right.
what your goal is, what your mission is, what your vision is. You pretty much got to write out your business plan,
Right.
of how you want to run your business. A lot of times when you first start, like anything, you really don't know unless you grew up in a household of
Right.
entrepreneurs. You really don't know. You're actually doing the research yourself. So I just started out like that in research. We all researched along the way, of
Mm.
how we move forward from here. We incorporated We Are Listening in Illinois because I was a resident of Illinois for 4 years.
Mm.
And so we're incorporated in our home state is Illinois, but we can operate anywhere.
Got
So
it.
that's how we have it set up. It was a much smoother process. I still have my home in Illinois, so I just, utilize Illinois to do some workshops and do virtual things. We have Illinois residents on and young ladies on when we do our virtual calls, things like that. So we just incorporate all these different states and, we could reach people virtually. So it's very easy, to
Right.
do what we do.
Cool. What were some early obstacles and lessons learned on the back end, kind of setting up the business and organization, as well as doing the work, working with the young ladies? What were some early obstacles and lessons you picked up or picked up along the way?
So I would say, and we still have obstacles, even being, 7 years in, we're still learning new things. We're still coming across things that's a challenge, and we just put our heads together and see what we can come up with. One of the challenges that we actually still suffer with is fundraising. And that's getting people to support us because we're a small nonprofit. We're competing with big nonprofits, United Way and the Boys and Girls Club. And,
Right.
so when we're trying to get, funders and donations and things of that nature, we're competing with these big nonprofits. And that's always a struggle. It's always,
Right.
and no matter how much we show, the impact that we're having and, how many, events we do in the community and virtual workshops for careers and, it sometimes feels like it's never enough. Like we still have to continue to grow in order to be recognized. So that's definitely one of our struggles and something we always talk about, how we're going to move forward. Even for 2022, we have our board meeting next week. And, we're going to take a look at that. We were blessed this year that we got a lot of people just open their wallets. I think because of the pandemic, people realizing like life is just short.
Right.
This nonprofit is trying to help young ladies. It's a tough time right now. So we had a lot of people open up to us, which allowed us to do a lot of the things we did this year.
Cool.
Without that, we can't function. We actually support our nonprofit ourselves. We all donate monthly and
Right.
we meet outside. So that's fundraising is definitely a number one.
Mhm.
Number two, we all have full-time jobs. We all work. So we are listening. When I say on the side, all our other time, aside from work, we're doing We Are Listening.
Right.
So, that can be challenging too, because some of us may have a heavier load than others during certain months. So we have to pick up, where we're a 4-person team. So, we have a lot on our plates, but we do it for the young ladies. They inspire us and we wouldn't change anything.
Ooh.
And the challenge with our mentees, just to answer your last question, we don't have much challenges with the mentees, but we have had to tweak our program and find out easier ways because sometimes we will get mentees that that sign up and then we lose them. Like they'll send the initial paperwork to sign up, and then all of a sudden we reach out and then we don't hear back anymore. So we had to go back and make some tweaks and find out like, what is it, our process, or maybe it's something with the young ladies that they hesitate once they sign up, so we've had to do a lot of tweaking and we pretty much have it down pat now. But again, it's like continuous improvement.
Retention is important. Retention is definitely important.
It is.
Definitely is important. So how many young ladies would you say y'all have mentored and helped in the 7 years thus far?
Wow. I would probably say we probably mentee over at least, wow. I'd have to pull up data, Andre. I would say maybe about over 400.
Nice. That's good.
Over 400 over the 7 years. And that's not including all of our community events. And
right.
we go to shelters and do our workshops. And I'm just talking about our e-mentoring program and the ladies. I would say at least over 400. I would say 400.
Good. Yeah. Now, as you were speaking, talking about kind of really showing folks what you've done to get more funds into the organization or so. So who's responsible for like doing data and having the stats? I'm sure as you were talking about it, stats is very important to what you do to kind of be successful and move forwards. So who's the stats person on the team?
Cassandra. She's our Cassandra. She's our data person, and she handles all the fundraising and the connects and the networking, things like that.
Cool. All right. Thus far, what would you say has been your biggest faith leap?
My faith leap?
Yeah, biggest faith leap. Had to jump out and you didn't really know what you was landing on.
I would probably say just starting We Are Listening.
Okay, that's fine.
That was a big faith leap, because even though I did research, I really, you don't know until you're actually in it what you're actually involved in. And it's a lot, applying for 501c3 and, getting, just things going and the connections and the networks and just flowing your team and how everybody's going to work together and who's going to do what. And, that was a leap of faith by itself. Just that when I talk about We Are Listening, I tell everybody, if I would have really, really like looked into what it entailed, I might have been a little intimidated.
Right.
I would have been a little intimidated, like, I don't know if I have the time, just things, you just look at, I would have probably been like, I don't know if I could put that many hours in. I have kids, I have, full-time job, I have a husband, I have, vacation, I have friends,
Right, because Venae has to travel, folks. She has to travel.
Yes. I've been trying to travel all year, but had to cancel a few because of Rona, but.
So speaking of that, how is it juggling kind of your family life with your work life with the We Are Listening life? How does that look for you during a regular week?
With me being home because of the pandemic, I was even more busy at home because my kids were home and they were, school, everybody was virtual. I was working from home. They were doing school. So I was teacher, I was mom, I was, career person. I was We Are Listening president. So it was definitely very interesting trying to balance everything. I found a comfort level, where, We Are Listening is always, because we're virtual, we're always flexible. So with our mentees, it was a matter of just, if we needed to, moving our meetings around. We meet once a week. We don't have more than 15 mentees at a time, and we cycle them through a period of time. So, it was just a matter of moving their time slots, moving around, and everybody was flexible because everybody was going through the same thing, trying to juggle school and home. And, so I'm very busy, because I have to juggle so much. And just as wife, I do all the I plan all the vacations, I plan the parties, I do, all those things. As a friend, I'm always, I'm always the one that gets everyone together. Let's do this weekend. Let's go on vacation. So that's me. So I just had, I wasn't sleeping. There were 24
you're the glue
hours
in all of this, huh?
Right. It's 24 hours in a day. And I would just have to say, I probably was getting maybe about 4 hours sleep, just trying to, not let the ball drop on anything.
Right. That's cool. Now I saw that y'all recently did a scholarship. That the first one y'all done?
That was the first one that we were able to do. And it was such a wonderful thing. We have been trying since we started with We Are Listening. That was one of our biggest goals, was to be able to provide a scholarship to a young lady. Mm-hmm. And we finally got the opportunity to do so this year at our Love Your Selfie event. And we did two $250 scholarships. And nice. It was a resilient scholarship. So basically what we had the young ladies that were attending our event do is to write a summary of how they were resilient, like how the pandemic made them resilient. How did they get through it? What were some of the challenges? How did they get through the challenges? So we had a whole bunch of our young ladies sign up, and we selected two, and it was such a wonderful thing to be able to provide scholarships for these young ladies to help them with school.
Cool. Now, how do you all kind of go about selecting events or doing events, or kind of curing events? How does that usually work?
So depending on where we're doing them, so if we're doing them in New York, I'm the contact here. If we're doing them in Virginia, Antoinette is the contact, Cassandra's Connecticut, and Daisha's New Jersey. So whatever we're doing, that person in whichever state, that person is the contact person. Okay. So for our Love You Selfie event, Antoinette is in Virginia. So she basically did all the legwork for selecting the venue, getting all the flyers out locally, contacting the radio stations. We did all the other stuff, pulling together everything we needed, the supplies, the food, everything we needed to get things functioning on the back end. She did the actual legwork in the state of Virginia to pull it together. So when I do events in New York, which a lot of times before the pandemic was our library series where we did our workshops. And also at the high school, Poughkeepsie High School, we did our workshops there. I was the contact and I put everything together for that.
Nice. Now, how can folks partner with WRL? Let them know.
In what way? To be a mentee, to partner with us?
Any which way y'all want folks to partner with. I mean, either financially or just kind of hands-on, volunteering. How can they hook up with y'all? So we have
on our website is everything you need. We're multi-talented. We all do like different things. I handle the website and all of our social media. So all of the people that's emailing and messaging, I'm the one behind the responses. All right.
Yeah, personal attention from Miss Venae Jackson. Mrs. Venae Jackson herself.
But any contacts, we are on all social media. We have everything. Wherever the young ladies are, we are. Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Our website is fully equipped for, anybody want to make donations, everything is on our website. If you want to partner with us, if you want us to come to your school to do any of our workshops, you can fill out a form on our website and somebody will get back to you pretty much, quickly. And we start from there. Anything you want to do, we're on our website, you could sign up for. If you want to volunteer with us, you could sign up on our website. We contact you. Sometimes we don't have any openings, but we keep everybody's information. A lot of times when we have events, we need help. So we had a lot of people volunteer to help us for our last event. So we definitely are easy to reach.
Cool. I can gladly and proudly say I was a part of one event a few years ago.
Yes.
I was hosting a nice Zumba event out in Central Park. Central Park, right? Yeah, Central Park.
No, it was actually in Harlem. It was at the park in Harlem.
Yes. Good time. Got a little sweat in and stuff, I still have my lovely orange shirt here, so I'm still rapping for WRL.
Yes.
Now, can folks also, if they have a kind of events or if they think of events that they want maybe to bring y'all in on as well, they can reach out to you as well through just the email or so too.
Absolutely. Through email, we're info at wearelistening.org. And our website is our source of information. If you need to reach us, that's the perfect place to go.
What is next for We Are Listening?
Next up, so because of the pandemic, we've had to kind of curb our in-house, going to places to actually do our workshops and things of that nature. But we're looking for 2022 to get back into going to, shelters again with young ladies and doing our workshops. We have self-esteem and confidence building. We do financial workshops. We do savings and credit. We do leadership skills. We do our Love Your Selfie vision boards. So we're just next year, we want to actually getting back into the venues again and the libraries and things of that nature.
Okay. My wife sneaking in.
The life of children.
Wonderful. Now, are there any other endeavors or so for you coming up outside from We Are Listening? Anything else? Any personal projects you thinking of working on or doing or so? Or
Nothing personally, only, my children, they're very busy. Their schedules are extremely busy. My daughter plays the piano, the violin, the ukulele, and she plays for the college here, Dutchess Community College. And she's also a cheerleader now, as you mentioned earlier. And my son also plays piano and get private lessons. So we're just busy with their schedules. So I got to kind of, keep my schedule a little minimized right now so I can tend to theirs.
Cool. I'm always a fan of hearing about young musicians. Yeah, I was young. I play guitar, so it was like, oh, really? They play? Nice.
Right. Might have a little band.
I just feel that anyone doing music from a young age is just a good skill to have, and I think it's just something that really, even if you don't go forward with it or really far with it, I think it's just really just good to have and just another outlet to have. As you play and stuff. So that's cool. All right, so thank you so much for taking some time out to chat with me today. Appreciate
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. I know you're doing great work there with We Are Listening. Said I follow the post and let's see what y'all are doing in the community and that's making an impact, which is very important. So just really quickly, just go over once again your handles on social media so that they can reach out to you and connect with We Are Listening for all the listeners out there.
Yes. So we are on Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'll what is it called again? The handle.
Yes,
the handle is We Are Listening. So it's WE, the letter R, and then listening, LISTENING. You can find us, just type in We Are Listening and we will pop up.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you once again, Mrs. Venae. Appreciate your time and all. Try to get some kind of sleep.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed talking to you and talking about We Are Listening and catching up.
Yes. All right. Well, this has been another episode of the Convergence Podcast, folks. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to share, like, download, subscribe, tell somebody else, and make sure to follow We Are Listening. If any young ladies that you know that need some positive influence in their life, be sure to check them out. They're doing great work. All right. We will catch y'all next time.